Justice for Joyce!
As an Indigenous person, I am with Joyce. I've been crying for 3 days, wondering, am I next?
Thousands marching for Joyce Echaquan, the 37-year-old Indigenous woman who died Monday at the Joliette Hospital, 74 kilometers northeast of Montreal, after she was admitted with stomach pains just days earlier. She recorded a video of her painful cries being dismissed and hospital staff making racist remarks against her because she's Indigenous, sparking outrage across Canada. Now many, including her family, are calling for justice.
As an Indigenous woman, as an Inuk woman, for Joyce and her family and for Atikamekw people, so we are in solidarity as human beings, and I think it's really important to mention that because this is not just Indigenous problem anymore. This is the people's problem.
This is our kind of George Floyd situation because these are people that were vulnerable and they were in care of people that are serving or protecting or giving care, and the abuse of their power. Also, they, instead of being like a knee on the neck, it was medication and being tied up.
Continue to treat us as if we are disposable. People can feel powerless and people want to give up. And this is why we need to have a reminder to people that Joyce Echaquan, she's not the only person that has died. There's others.
Premier François Legault admitted racism exists in the province, though he would not qualify Echaquan's death as an example of systemic racism.
It obviously exists here in Quebec, and you know, how many more women, how many more people are going to lose their lives to systemic racism?
What if it was his wife or relative that this happened to? What would he do? What would he expect and give us the same treatment?
An orderly and a nurse have since been fired, and 2 official investigations were launched. Quebec's Public Security Minister Geneviève Guilbeault tweeting Saturday afternoon she asked the Quebec coroner to order a public inquiry into Echaquan's death to understand the circumstances.
I am tired of hearing people's intentions. We don't want intentions!
There's no political will at this point to make the changes. As we've seen, there's been commissions and reports, and government has done nothing about it. So I want people to rise up with us together to make the changes so we don't have to have more deaths like Joyce's.
In Montreal, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News. 2 women are dead and a suspect hit by police gunfire after a shooting in